everybody. Welcome to my page. My name is Valkyria Verde. We are here today to look at Saturn retrograde, moving back into Pisces. Then it will eventually go direct in Pisces, and then it's going to leave Pisces. So we're looking at the chunk of time where Saturn is in Pisces for the final time for another like 20 some odd years, which is wild. This time in general, well, and I guess kind of before I get into all the updates and the sweet treats of the video, I also want to give updates. Welcome back to the channel. It's been a while since I've been here. I'm grateful to be back. I had a lot of things in the background. I'm not going to over explain. Okay. And I had a lot of things in the background that have just been backgrounding. There's so much work I've been doing in the background for years and years and years and years and years and years and years at this point. But I finally, like yesterday, as I'm filming this, consecrated my priestesshood position. So now that batch work has brought me into my placement, I'll be able to be here on the internet more often. That's just what it is, and I'm really grateful for it because literally for years I've been like, get me back to the internet. That's where I want to be. So now I'm back. Cool. So thank you for being patient with me because I feel like I just want to be here and to offer and to give and to give and to give. And like, I just haven't had the time because the spirits have had me on assignment. So, okay. But I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for the process, and we're back. Okay, so that's the first update. Here we are. The second one is going to be, there's going to be a couple videos coming out about the Coven stuff here in a little bit. So if you're interested in practicing with us and or already have been practicing with us, there's going to be a couple of updates. There's going to be a video coming out about the new moon in Aquarius ritual that we practiced earlier this year, 2025. I've been having a lot of stuff happen with that recently as we kind of get towards the eclipses. There's Aquarius eclipses next year, and I was hearing from some other Coven members that they've kind of been in like a whoa, things are happening moment with that work. So I want to make a video. We're going to do kind of a reading space and kind of check in with the pace of things and maybe what we can expect for the upcoming year with the eclipses kind of tied into that. And if there's anything else that maybe we need to practice with it. So if you're new to the work or you did not do that work, you're welcome to come and join us in the other ones. And if you've already practiced with us, then that's going to be something that is available for us. I'm going to link the video up here for the new moon in Aquarius ritual. It's already like we did it previously, but if you wanted to go back and watch it, learn from it, kind of, I try to explain why we're doing what we're doing. I don't just give you a work and then be like, okay, that's it, be done. So we learn while we're here, thankfully. Yeah, no spoon feeding in my class. We shall sit and listen. We shall sit and listen and learn. Okay, so that's the first one. The second Coven update is that I just kind of want to do a check-in. So I'm gonna do a check-in and say hi to everyone and kind of give some updates on what we've been doing, what we can expect kind of coming up, and that for now is going to be that. My sessions are back open, so if you're interested in booking with me, there'll be a link down below. Astrology sessions, transit planning, mentorship, magic sessions, readings are available as well. And if you feel like multiples of those are going to be of benefit to you, then the combination sessions are open too. The new thing that I'm starting to do, I don't know if this is going to be something that people participate in, but I'm going to start opening up my tip jar. So if you feel like after this video or during the video, you're like, yeah, that deserves a tip, it's going to be down below. Otherwise, you can become an exclusive sub over on Substack and get monthly updates on the new moons and some in-between things about the darker magics that I've learned about through the years so that you don't have to learn the hard way. So that's the update. That's what I have to say. Let's get into Saturn. So Saturn, this video, as I was saying before I got into the updates, this Saturn place, this Saturn space is really about us being able to transition in hierarchy. If we think about Saturn, it's a lot about this big picture, big hierarchies. We're going into the world and we're earning a position and we want more money and we want more status and we want more fame and we want more. Saturn. But because more is not available in a limitless sort of space, we are bound to the rock of the earth, the being of the earth, right? We're bound to it, we're here, and there's not a limitless sort of more. So Saturn's like, listen, you want more? Not only do you have to earn it, but you're going to be restricted in the process. So with Saturn being in Pisces, Pisces is an interesting placement because it is the encompassing of everything that comes before it. Every single area of life, Pisces. Every single area of life, Pisces. It also has to do with the spiritual veils, spiritual work. It has to do with sacrifices. So the sacrifices that we make to be able to move on, move forward. And it also has to do with transition. I sometimes, when I'm talking about the Pisces relationship to Scorpio, I'll say that Scorpio is the death and the life, and then everything in between is Pisces. So this veil work that is transitionary, that's Pisces related. So if you have a lot of like Pisces 8th house, 12th house Scorpio crossovers, now you know that's what's going on with those. But Saturn being in Pisces, we are hierarchically moving through transition. So a lot of us at this time are either working for a new position within our hierarchical spaces, Saturn related places, checking out where Saturn is in your chart and where Pisces is in your chart. Gonna be kind of a good idea to check in with. Just kind of headed back into this. And also for background, Saturn entered Pisces March of 2023. So if you've been working on anything since that time, that has been a transition of hierarchical Saturn related stuff. We're in the final space of it. Here we are. We're in the final. The other reason I wanted to do this video is because I know for myself, I set some goals at the beginning of Saturn in Pisces because we're at the end. I want to do a check-in. What else we need to know about this transit before we let go? Because Saturn moving through Pisces, when it gets all the way back into Aries in 2026, and I'm going to put some dates down below and more specific times and kind of like what to look for with the upcoming shifts of Saturn. We'll go over some in the video too, but like the super specific stuff is going to be down there. So we're making the final transitions. Like if you're working on transitioning anything, like I'll use myself as an example. There's stuff in my career that I'm hoping will transition with this work as I'm doing it. I'm moving, okay? There's been friends that have transitioned, relationships have changed. There's a lot of, internal, emotional, mental stuff that's been transitioning as well. So it really is like every area of our lives. It encompasses it. So if you have any goals, because one of the things that Saturn reminds us is that we don't have enough time to do everything. We have one life and we have the time in that life and that's it, and then we're done, and our soul sees the sun. So while we are here in that Saturn in Pisces space, I just want to do kind of a look at with the cards, is why I say this, with the cards. We're going to look at kind of like what to look at, what to expect, because the dates we're looking at, Saturn goes retrograde in Pisces. It's been retrograde for some time now, but with the Pisces space is going to be September 1st, and then let's look and see. Saturn goes direct in Pisces November 28th. Beautiful. And then Saturn's going to re-enter Aries. Where are we at? February 14th. What a weird Valentine's Day gift. 2026. So that's the time frame that we're looking at right now. The other reason that I want to bring this up, and I'm going to link another video up here if you haven't seen it yet, the Pisces eclipse is coming up on September 7th. That's the other reason that I want to sit and I want to do this video kind of more specifically on Saturn, because the Pisces eclipse that's coming up is in Pisces, and Saturn's going to be retrograde in Pisces for the final time of this transit of Saturn in Pisces. So let's look at it. Let's see what's going on. Let's see what's happening. Let's see what we need to know. Okay. A prayer returned. A prayer returned. What have you been praying about? Asking about? A prayer returned. A prayer returned. I see someone very like, just sitting like this. A prayer returned. Oh. It's like, in those like movies and those stories where it's like, I've been praying to God my whole life. This is nothing against God. Okay, listen, God is a part of my practice as well. We're not gonna knock on the bad, like in a bad way, on God. So, but you ever seen people like the cliche of like, I've been praying to God my whole life, and then I became a witch and I started talking to the gods, and they started talking back. You ever seen that? It reminds me of that, but it's like something that you just thought you were talking to the spirits about, and they like haven't said anything. They haven't said anything. Well, they're going to. It's gonna be internal. It could be an idea, it could be a realization. Sometimes the way that spirit communicates with us and the spirits is not so direct. It's not so word talk. In my mind, I'm seeing, what is it, Snoopy, where it's like, and you can never see the adults. That's kind of, right? Okay. And I've never actually watched any like full, but anyways, let's not get caught up on that. But it reminds me of that, because sometimes we do like I'm thinking about sometimes the way that I pray, or sometimes the way that I sit and I like will talk to the spirits, not necessarily like a spell work or an incantation or like enchantment or entrancement or anything like that. Those are different kinds of magic. But like if I'm just singularly sitting and talking to the spirits, highest spirit, God, Goddess, the Great Mother, the Great Father, the spirits who are of love, truth, free, honor, glory, elevation, gratitude, reverence, justice, magic, spirit, liberation, free, and love. My ancestors who are of those energies. Sort of depends on who I need the help from, depending, that'll switch up who I talk to. But there's sometimes I sit and talk and like my mind, I'll be talking and my mind will like sit with a picture, like I'll be given a picture or it'll be a different direction, or like something will change and it will be very indirect. But I've learned through the years, like I wasn't the one who made the decision to start thinking about that new thing. I wasn't the one who made the decision to look at that vision that came up. It just was there now. So sometimes when you pray or like you're talking to the spirits, they answer right away, right there. But because it's not like that, like this, sometimes it's a little bit like, especially if you're new to it, I think is kind of why I bring it up for people who are like more on the new side of practicing. So if you ever have that happen while you're talking to the spirits, that's usually them communicating with you the changes. So there's gonna be something like that, and what I hear is it's gonna happen on the day, okay, on the day that Saturn goes back into Pisces. That's pretty wild, okay, because let's talk about that too. The day that Saturn went into Aries rules the head, right? Rules our mind. So the day that Saturn went into Aries, I had this experience, like it was like immediately when Saturn went into Aries. I think this is one of the strongest times that transit has ever transited me. That may be not completely true, but in a while. And I immediately, like my head started changing. I was like, the pathways of thinking are altering. And like, I literally just sat in kind of like a trance work, a meditation space for probably a couple of hours. And I had to let some things move around in like mentally. And every time I tried to get up, I was like, we're not done yet. Let me just sit my behind down because I got to get through this. So what I feel like is it's going to be kind of immediately, there's going to be, oh, that's the answer. That's the thing that I've been asking to be able to review or understand. Because Saturn retrogrades, there's a couple of different, let's talk about the retrograde aspect of it before we get to the Saturn direct part of it being in Pisces, right? Saturn retrogrades are interesting to me because they do several different things. One of them that we talk about more commonly on the internet is like, karma's gonna come get you. That's like the normal narrative language that people use, is like, it's a time, which is true, okay? If you've done something that like is Saturn related that maybe isn't super good, then it's gonna hurt a little bit. That's just what it is. Or if you have a mess to clean up, that is applicable, like a Saturn related mess. Like say that you've been working and you're trying to like change your position in the world. Or I'm thinking about myself kind of transitioning out of homelessness is a great example. And then there was all this paperwork I had to get done and all these backworks I had to get done. Simultaneously, I was like changing my business websites and things like that. Houseless, I suppose. We always have a home in ourselves, right? But like a houselessness. So those sorts of transitions, though, it can be a lot, because with Saturn hierarchy, it takes a long time to imagine someone who just there's a bill that comes in the mail and they're like, I'm not paying that. I'm going to ignore it. I'm not paying that. I'm going to ignore it. Well, eventually there's going to be, real life consequences to that, but it takes time. That's a part of the Saturn consequence of the hardships, is it takes time usually of a repetitive pattern to get into a position that sucks, which is usually why it sucks so much, and is also why it takes so much time to get out of it. So if you're looking at the, also, now I was houseless at one point. That's kind of weird. I don't usually talk about that on my pages, but here we are. I've been getting more personal on the internet recently. As it is, maybe you'll know more about me by the end of it. There we go. Okay, one thing a day, maybe. I don't know. Anyways, moving on. What do they say? An apple a day keeps the doctor away. Maybe a secret a day. A secret a day? One secret a video? It's like those little egg, like when they talk about the Easter egg hunts and like video games and stuff. That was such an off-track moment. Let's get back to the point, okay? So going to the Saturn retrograde again. Oh my goodness. Can you tell she's had her coffee today? There's a lot of other ways that Saturn retrogrades work, especially if you're someone who's working on building business or hierarchy. Again, Saturn related stuff, and you're working on doing that in the world. Saturn retrogrades are super useful because Saturn direct, we're focused on these tiny little details constantly. constantly, and we we can't see the bigger picture. So then we get to Saturn retrograde, and it's like, oh, I get why I've been doing all of this now. Okay, so I see the bigger picture. Maybe what I've been doing in the details doesn't actually work for that bigger picture. Let me go back and refine. I need to reconsider some things. The reconsideration of retrogrades. I need to reconsider some things. It also will help you refine your path. So I always tell people when they're working with transit planning stuff that having a pretty good idea of like the bigger picture by the time that Saturn goes direct of like what it is that you're working on is a good idea, because Saturn's going to transition you when it's direct. It's going to be like, okay, well, start taking the day-to-day steps again, because that's what's necessary now. The other thing about retrogrades, and I've talked about this on the page before, I've talked about this in multiple different places, but I know I talked about it over here on this platform as well. So retrogrades are binding. They're binding. What you do inside of a retrograde will come back to you. Yes, it will. Yes, it will. It will come back to you. So one of the things, good, bad, neutral, doesn't matter. If you do it during a retrograde, you're going to revisit it in another retrograde, and you're going to be processing it in between the retrogrades while the planet is direct. Imagine, can I get a picture? Can I get a drawing? Okay, hold on. Because this is really what's happening. I feel like I need a whiteboard. Anyways, okay. This isn't going to be exactly exact. Okay, we're gonna sticky note together. We're gonna sticky note it together. But imagine that this little loop that we go in here, right? This is the retrograde part of things. Technically, that's why I say it's not gonna be exact, because the retrograde is when the planet looks like it's moving backwards totally and completely. So really, hold on. Really, this is what retrogrades are gonna look like. Like if it's moving backwards here, that's the retrograde part. It's going to move forwards, and then it's going to move retrograde backwards again. It's going to move forward. But the reason I picture it like this, okay, is because if we're working with the binding aspect of things, if this is number 1, this happened first, and this is number 2, this happened second in time. This number 1, we bind things up to get things done. Here, it's sort of invisible. While the planet is direct, it's sort of invisible. We sort of have this moment where we're focused on going direct. It's just kind of in the background. But then we get to this retrograde, and we think back to this retrograde. When the planet is direct, going forward, we get to this second retrograde. Oh, here's a good time frame for me to reconsider. You can do this with multiple retrogrades. Say that there's like other pockets. You know, the first retrograde of Saturn was middle of the year 2023 in Pisces, so you go back even to that one and look. But this one, if this is the second one, now we have to go back into what this binding was, clear some stuff out, figure out what else do we want in the binding, and then we kind of carry this as a circle with us while the planet is direct. Imagine that you're moving. It's like a suitcase. If you've ever traveled like that, you don't have like a home base. Okay, yeah, you're carrying everything that you have with you. So if you have a suitcase and you're going from maybe like the hotel to the airport, the hotel, everything was unpacked. You opened up that binding of a suitcase and you reconsidered some things, right? The souvenirs, how are they gonna fit? What is it that's gonna sit in there? Okay, beautiful. And then you pack it up, you bind it up. I'm bringing this with me. It's like carrying baggage with you. Okay, I'm bringing this with me. Then you get to the airport. Okay, we're still going direct. Then you get home or to your next destination. And then you sit and you open it up again. You unbind it. And there's some reconsideration once more. So, and then we transition, maybe it's a new chapter. So if you're looking at, because at that point, are you packing up again to leave? Are you putting it in the laundry? Like, what are you doing at that point? So that's kind of another good example in like metaphor of what retrogrades can do for us. So with Saturn, you're talking about all the hierarchy, all the business stuff. We're unpacking that, reconsidering. Okay, yeah, it's a good time, especially for people who are in business or like Saturn related things. It's a good time to like sit with the building. Okay, so for this part of the reading, let's look specifically at when Saturn is retrograde. Technically the reading already started, but then we got on a whole other astrology rant. Welcome. Well, welcome if you're new here. I rant a lot, so here we go. And if you're not, you know. So the Saturn retrograde in Pisces to when it's direct in Pisces. I kind of want to look at that time frame first. Anything we need to know? Oh, what do you ask? Who are you? That's what I want to know. Who are you to be important enough that your dreams come true? Who are you? What? Cool. I don't know what you asked for, but you're gonna get it. I don't know what you asked for, but you're gonna get it. Think back to March of 2023. Around that time, did you ask for anything? Have you been working on anything for, a couple of years? Maybe longer than that. I don't know. Could be longer than that. Keep leading with the heart. Also, this thing that's coming in is only for you. It's only for you, and this is the thing that's going to place you in a higher position within those Saturn areas. Could be a promotion. It could be more money. The thing about Saturn, when those gifts come in, and I feel like I'm not going to super expand on this, but I am going to sit with it because it feels like it's necessary. One of the things that happens, you're at one level for a super long time, right? You're working to get to the next level. Once you get there to this next level, you have to also shed what happened down here. Not everything, because it's still foundational and fundamental, but you have to shed the layer. It's like when you hear people say, your dream life's gonna cost you your old one. That's a good cliche. But it's also like people who have success where they're talking about you can't take everyone with you. You've made it here, and now there's things about this that have to be shed. So it's gonna be different depending on the person and like what you're working on. And this is not the kind of manifestation that just falls in your lap. So look at the things that you've been consistently considering and working in. There's gonna be some emotional nourishment. I see someone like receiving what it is that they're asking for, and then finally being like, okay, I can pour back into myself now. Like, I've been working so hard on this, I can pour back into myself. I can give myself some more, maybe time. Saturn does have to do with time. I can give myself some more time. I have resources now that I can pour into myself. So when that happens, make sure that you give some back to you. Give some back to you, for sure. Okay, what else? Let your decision be true. What is decision about what? Oh, money? Okay, if you watch that Pisces video, if you watch the Pisces September 7th eclipse video, one of the things that I was talking about that came through in that reading is honey money. It was like this, it was such a strong feeling that I got too. I was like, it reminds me of a meal that I used to make, it was like a potato hash, but I would put cinnamon and honey on it. It was really good. Try it sometime, okay? I have a weird flavor taste, but like, it was delicious. I love honey. I love honey on like savory sorts of meals. So good, it was so good. So it reminded me of that though. It was like this, like it was savory. It wasn't just a sweet treat. Like I'm thinking about the coffee that I've been drinking, and like that is sweet, and it's also like there's savory to it too, but it's like it's not something that you can really like sit and chew on, you know? But that's how I felt in the other video, in the Pisces eclipse video. It was like a savory, very sweet, savory, like meal. Money. Okay. Let your decision be true. Opportunity coming through is the other thing I'm hearing about this. Like if there's an opportunity offered. Here you go. Now you know. Make your decision true for you. There's some order around this one. Hold on. What do we need to see? Order. This decision is the end of the ride. So what are you deciding on? Oh my God. The end of a ride? It's like the end of a chapter. The end of an era. It's the end of something. Yeah, I am going to decide to go do that new thing. It's like if somebody gets a promotion and they're like, I considered it. I am going to do that. Okay, new responsibilities. Maybe it's a new job in a different, how do I say? Like a different, if it's a skyscraper, that's the word. If it's a skyscraper, like maybe it's a completely different level of the business. So now you're not even around the same colleagues. Like it's an adjustment. Okay. Spirit's been working on me with adjustment recently. When changes happen, take time to adjust. That was actually a part of the justice work that we did in recent months. It was like many months ago with the Coven, but take time to adjust. The torch. Carry the light. Carry the light. Carry the light. I see this decision being made, offering that you can't see yet. It's still in the darkness. You can't see it yet. I see this turn, an offering coming in, and it's like right at the beginning. Whoa. new people, like 1 to a few new people who, this is different, and they have a torch. We would like you to carry this. You're gonna get paid more. There's different benefits. We would like you to carry this. Okay, yeah, I'll be the one. I'll be the one. I'll carry it. Let me walk then. They've been waiting for somebody to carry the torch. That's what I say. Who are you? What have you been working on? That's crazy. That's crazy. Hard work. The course is already set. Dude, I was thinking about this yesterday. Psychic gifts are weird, and we're going to talk about it for a second. I was thinking about this yesterday. This has always happened to me every single time that I've ever lived in an apartment. Every time. My psychic gifts are just really strong. Like, and I mean strong enough that sometimes I'm like, hey, okay, listen, why do I need to know that? You don't have to tell me everything. I'm grateful for what I know, but like, you don't have to tell me everything, you know? So, but I was laying in bed yesterday and I could hear stuff happening that was not in my apartment. And not anything like gross or bad, but it was just like movement and conversation. And I was also like half asleep. And there's a lot of psychic stuff that happens when I'm half asleep. So I was like half asleep and I could hear this. And I could see the entire path of the night of that interaction that I was like listening to at the very beginning. And so I was listening to it and I was like, whoa, they have an entire, like the course is already set. Like there's things that can be changed in, like fine-tuned in the middle of the course, but like the whole entire course is already set. They're already going through like a set sort of like, this is happening then, and this is then, and this is then, and this is then. Interesting. That's Urus, the rune Urus. For people who are unfamiliar, I shall show you. Urus. I think it's backwards on the camera, but Urus. As a part of Urus, there's a lot of stuff that has to do with Urus, but that's Urus. So interesting. So it's like the course is already set. So you just take the flame, take the fire, walk, and the course is there. So it's like you can go, it also reminds me of like a video game. Like if you're walking the path in the video game, it's like the map is already set up and you could kind of go and explore the areas that have been created by the game maker. Oh my God, not a Katniss Everdeen reference. What you been fighting for? That's kind of the feeling I have for this too. What you been fighting for? Cause it's about to come true. That's crazy. Congrats. Congratulations. Oh my gosh. Congratulations. Oh, that's so good. Good. Well, if the course is already set then, go explore. Be on the ride then. What else do we need to know about the other side of this ride? Let's bring the fate cards out. Anything else to know about the other side of this ride? Something that you cannot see. Oh, you're exactly the person that you're supposed to be. So if you have some self-help, that's what I'm hearing, some self-help perspective, they wouldn't have chosen you if it wasn't your time. This opportunity would not be available if it wasn't your time. So if you're ever feeling insecure about it, or you're like, I don't know, is this really for me? Yeah, it is. And you're more than capable. It's the Empress, okay? The Empress is capable of so much. So much. And what I hear is like, this encompasses a lot of your capabilities, sure, but like you're even more than what this thing is. So like remind yourself of that, okay? Remind yourself of that. Don't let the insecurity, you stay away from me. Thanks insecurity for the lesson that I'm actually exactly who I need to be. I appreciate it. Okay, let us also look at, we want to look at that. I think I want to look at that now. Okay, because I really want to look at when Saturn does go direct. That's November 28th. So November 28th to February 14th, Valentine's Day of 2026. Let's look at once Saturn goes direct. So we have this opportunity coming in. There's like, here you go, right at the beginning. What do we need to know about when Saturn goes direct? Oh boy. Yeah, that was pretty specific, actually. That was really specific. Oh my God, hold on. How do I translate that? Because that was... There's gonna be an outpour. Oh my God, especially if your job has to do with any kind of communications. The card landed on the computer that I have right over here. So most people's jobs are like technologically involved somehow these days. I don't know how that applies to you, but communication, computer, technology, okay. There's gonna be an outpour. An outpour? Like pouring into you. Pouring into you. So what it is that you do online, on the internet, technology related, communication related, could be written stuff like paperwork. Communication is very encompassing of a lot of things. Looks, how we dress, that's a form of communication. Body language is a form of communication. The way the earth communicates, growing plants, is it healthy, is it not? Communication, okay, apply as necessary. Apply as necessary. There's gonna be a pouring in to you. Because think about Pisces is also the rainwater. Hello, if we're talking about transitionary water, let's carry the clouds for a little bit and eventually they have to come back to the earth. So Saturn goes direct in Pisces, then there's gonna be the rain coming through for you. Here you go. It's more than rain, is what I'm hearing. It's like a stream or like a river or some kind of water. Some kind of watered pour. There you go. Okay, what else? Still with the money. Goodness. So who's working on money? Is it you? Resources? Finances? I mean, in this world that we live in right now, makes sense. That makes sense to me, okay? Resources, finances, abundance. Because that was another thing that came through in the Pisces eclipse reading was, are you ready to be abundant? That was like closer to the end. Are you ready to be abundant? That was one of the final questions that came out. Because it's happening. That money is going to change your life. Good. I heard blessing. It's a blessing. That money is going to change your life. I'm so happy for you. Oh my God. That money is going to change your life. What I say, it's like, what I see is like a single mom working by herself, getting by with her kids, doing good. It's hard. The work is there, you know, doing good. And then one day that mom gets a new job offer. Maybe they've been studying, going to school and, you know, working, taking care of the kids. So they're like really busy. They finish their degree. They're applying for new jobs, right? New job offer comes in. It's like 3 times what they made at the other job. And they have time because they're not studying anymore to go be with the kids. Like, that money's going to change your life. Okay, mama. Good for you. If you do not identify with mother energy, still good for you. Still good for you. Oh my goodness. This one. Wow. Let's look at the order for this one. Wow. That money's going to change your life. So silent. So reverent. That money's going to change your life. Okay. Why? This one. Time to cross destiny. The fridge kicked on as I said that. Cool. For anybody who likes those little synchronicities like I do, that just happened. Yeah. Time to cross your destiny. This has been coming up for those of you who watch my TikTok live streams. If you don't, we're gonna sip on some of the tea for a second. There's been themes. There's always themes. When I do collective readings, always thematic. They're always themes. They're always themes. And I also just want to give interject for a second. I used to do those collective readings on YouTube as well, but I've just been I don't do them anymore. Sometimes I'll repost them from TikTok if it's like the clarity was needed. Lots of trolls in the comments, so I just would rather not. So if you are interested in those, they're over on TikTok. Otherwise, I'll share information as necessary. So there's always themes, going back to that. Because I know there's people over here who supported me in that space. So going back to that destiny, crossing destiny. Has been a theme. That's been something that's been coming up for months now. Justice has been a theme for months, for a long time. For like an uncountable amount of time, justice has been around. And destiny has become a theme. And destiny is kind of like the big focal point of the September 7th eclipse. We have this eclipse north node in Pisces, very spiritual, very transitionary, encompassing of every area of our lives. It's this thing that's way high up in the sky that has to do with our purpose. And that's going to be ruled by, I'm not going to get into every specific detail. Again, if you want to go see the whole thing, that video is up. But it is ruled by where the south node is. So we have this big thing high up in the sky that is coming down to the earth to intervene, to change things. And for like long term, eclipses, the cycles are 18.5 years. That's a long, long time. That's a really, really long time. So you walking into this new position, the money that's going to change your life, yeah, that's your destiny. You know you're meant to do whatever that is. You know that you're meant to be in that field. You know. Probably also then, it's Saturn. Hello. You've probably faced trials that said, are you going to keep going or are you going to quit? Are you going to quit? Because if not, get the grit. You got to go then. Are you going to quit? If not, get the grit. With Saturn stuff, sometimes you do have to have, you got to have the grit. You got to have the wit. And to recover, sometimes you have to be able to sit. That's also true. Okay. Is there anything else we need to know about destiny? This is your destiny. It's time to cross destiny. This next one, let's look at anything that we need to know about the destiny part of things related to Saturn. Specifically. Oh. Gonna change the world. You have become the change that you need in your life, and Saturn finally, without the restrictions of the retrograde, is gonna be like, go. You changed yourself to change the world. Now go and do the work to change the world. That's a lot. That's a long time, guys. That's a long time. I don't know how long you've been doing this work for, but this sort of training or this sort of work, you change yourself to be able to change the world. That takes time and hardship. Right? Okay. You change yourself, now go change the world. You change yourself, now go change the world. And because I have this feeling of like the work is not over. The work is not over, now the work is different. The work is not over, now the work is different. Saturn, of course. When Saturn lets us rest, talk about a gift, right? Okay. The work is not over. Okay, then. I'm going to talk specifically to people, and I know that there's a lot of you. This is a spiritual channel, right? Okay. I want to talk specifically to people who practice in this moment. It's the High Priestess that came out. I'm going to talk specifically to people who practice, because that's really like, if you're looking at what your gift, spiritually, gifts can do for the world, of course it's going to change you. And then you do the work in the world. It makes sense. You got to learn to walk the walk and talk the talk before you can go out and do both of them. You got to learn it before then you're set out on your course. So if you're someone who practices, like, now is the time. If you've been working on something, you're like, yeah, I think I'm ready. Yeah, I think this is something I want to step into. I've done the work. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. Our gifts don't happen for no reason. They don't happen for no reason. I was talking earlier in the video about how just yesterday I sat with the spirits and consecrated my priestesshood. One of the things I was saying to them while I was doing that, I sat and I cried. I'm going to be really honest with you. I cried a lot, but this specific part I'm going to tell you about. I cried because I was like, I don't know why you offered this to me. There's a lot of things about the priestesshood, initiation, training, consecration that I've been through that I will never talk about on the internet, probably, at least not now, not in the time that we're in. And that's fine. If it needs to be spoken about one day, then it will be. But for now, stories for me. So secrecy, right? We need a little bit in our lives, and I'm very public with pretty much a lot of the stuff that I do. So some of the stuff is for me. But going back to sitting and talking with the spirits, I was crying because I was like, why did you give this to me? Knowing what I know about the world, knowing what I know about magic, knowing what I know about the gifts, knowing what I know. Why me? Why me? If I'm the only person who can do this, that's really what destiny is. Destiny. You're the only person who can do it. It's for you and you alone. Nobody else can take the path. You ever heard about like destiny swapping? Nobody else can take it. It's meant for you, and it's supposed to be only for you for a reason, because it's yours. Destiny is not something that we choose. We choose how we get there, but again, the course is already set. It's spoken over our lives. It's something that's kind of decided before we're born. It's part of the reason that spiritual people are so interested in it. What's the mystery? Who am I really? What is it? What do the spirits want from me? So I was sitting and talking with them, and I was like, I don't understand why you chose me for all this stuff that now I know about now. Why me? Of course, I'm not going to answer that. Not yet. Maybe one day. But it's more about, I think, honestly, about what you do with it. What are you going to do with it? They've given you the gift. They've given you the power. They've given you... So what are you going to do? How are you going to brave the world? How are you going to be creative and courageous and turn things into something different? There's been enough creators in the world who have turned things into evil, vile, poisonous things, right? So now that you're in a position that you've earned, it could be crossing into a new study. Look at this, both of them that came out. Both of them have X's on them. It's time to make the cross. It's the world card, and then it's Gebo. Gebo and the world. The High Priestess has multiple different crossings too, but that's how the Fate deck is. This one is interesting. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 different crossings on the High Priestess card. So actually, here, if you want to have a look, see, there you go. Yeah. Okay, what else do we need to know about this? Whoa. How did you end up over here? The order of fate is about to appear. Okay. Because I have my... Magic is so strange. I have my rune deck, which I use for order. When I need to know the order of a happening or the order of events or the I sit with this one. So I call it the order deck. This is the Fate deck. It's a tarot deck, but I've incorporated the Norse weird, not of weird, the well of weird, right? So I look down and the card for the runes is on top of the, I don't know how I got there. Clearly I put it there, duh, but like I didn't mean to do that. They're separate right now. What is this one? Okay. This feels like kind of a joke, but not. Serious joke. Serious haha funny moment. Serious funny haha is on Seuss, which is like wisdom, the clarity of the mind, being able to have those bright ideas where you're like, oh, the spirit did tell me that. Oh, whoa. That's one of the ways you can interact with it. That's one of the ways I sit with it. Oh, whoa. Okay. Order of fate's about to appear, so listen clear. Something else is in your ear. Something else to disappear. Don't listen to those people true. Listen more to singular you, okay? Something else is moving through, moving on, moving up, moving. Sometimes the cup's prince has to leave the kingdom because the king is not going to give up the seat of power, and he has to go find somebody to marry. I'm going to take over this other kingdom because they need a king. Where are you going? You're leaving something, but you're not at the same time. I'm still myself. I still come from where I come from. What else is it you need to do? Because the Saturn Retrograde in Pisces is coming on through. So what else is it you need to do to understand you're crossing into destiny? Look at the preparation, if you have any. Look at the preparation if you feel like, yes, my destiny is this. I know that. I know I'm headed in this direction. I know this is something I'm supposed to do. I know it. I know it in my bones. I know it in my soul. I know it in my eyes. I know it. And nobody can take it away from me. I know it. Okay, if you know it, don't kid yourself, okay? You know it then. If you know it, screw what society has to say about it. Do you realize how insane it is? I just want to give a perspective. Do you realize how insane it is that in the year 2025, we can sit here on the big wide world internet and talk about astrology and magic and priestesshood? Women didn't even have their own, couldn't even legally have their own bank accounts until like, what was it, 1950? That's less than 100 years ago. Are you joking? Okay, so let's just sit with perspective right now. If you know you're meant for something, you're meant for it. Screw what everybody else has to say about it. It's for you then. Literally don't listen to them. I'm so, oh my God, over it. Don't listen to them. I can't tell you how many times on this path I have met someone who is like, well, what if we did it this way? Or maybe you should do it like that. I don't care. I know it's meant for me. I'm going to do it the way that I want to do it. You know. Just claim it. Aim it. Claim it, aim it. You know. And there's no denying it. It's the thing that you probably at some point have tried to be like, shh, the world says we can't do this. Our parents say we can't do this. Our friends might think this is weird. I'm gonna have to bleep that out, but whatever. I'm getting a little worked up, to be honest with you. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Dude, the undeniable is denied at least once. The undeniable is denied at least once. In reflection, talking about my priestesshood, yeah, I gave up practicing for a little bit. Magic got me into this mess. I'm gonna put it down. I'm done. Psych, no you're not. Get back up. It's time to do some other stuff. So yeah, we always, of course, it's natural to deny who we are in our spirit, in our bones, in our body, in the truth that we know. You gotta let go of it. You gotta let go of it, let go of it, let go of it. That's a process. Okay, so be kind and gentle with yourself as you do that. And also, let go. Let go of the societal expectations. Let go of what your friends might say about you. Let go of what people at work might think about you. Let go of it. If it's something you want to do, you want to do it. If you know you're meant for it, then you know you're meant for it. You want to go study a new kind of magic? Go do it. You want to be a new kind of practitioner? Go do it. You want to set off into the world and start something different? Go do it. You know you're meant for it. You know you're meant for it. When you do that, something's going to stick. It's like if you've been living your whole entire life. I see somebody with knives, like dagger throwing, how they throw them at targets. I see somebody their entire life knowing that they're meant to throw daggers. Just knowing. And for whatever reason, they can't hit the target. They can't hit it. They can't hit it. Or if they hit it, it doesn't stick. It doesn't stick, whatever. And then I see them one day, after all that target practice, think about how many times in life you've done something and you're like, this isn't really for me, right? One day, I see this person sitting, having a conversation with somebody else, casually tossing a dagger because it's what they've done their entire life, and it sticks. Wait a second. I finally made my mark. Okay, something not so dark about that. That is going to be very clear and very specific and very direct depending on who you are and what you do. I made my mark. That's the one. I did it. I figured it out. That's what I do. That's what I do. It's gonna stick too. Because at that point, oh Jesus, man. At that point, I see someone who, right, throwing the daggers. I see the person is like, I've trained my whole life for this. Let me throw the daggers then. And so I see just this big target full of different knives. Crazy. What else do we need to know about this? Again, a reminder of the timing that this is for after Saturn goes direct. So between November 28th and February 14th. A builder. Once you have that thing that sticks, then you can figure out how to build. Because if it doesn't stick, how do I explain this? If it doesn't stick, how can you really like, if it doesn't have any friction, then the pieces won't stay together. They'll slide apart. You can't build like that. So if it sticks, okay, now I've got some cement. Let's work with it. Get to work. Get to work. Rest when you need to, right? Not the masonry coming up, goodness. Oh my goodness, it's gonna be so much more fulfilling than you could even comprehend in this moment right now. Like, so much more. I didn't know life could be like this. I didn't know this sort of life existed. It's so good that you couldn't have asked for it. It's so good that you couldn't even comprehend how to ask for it. It's so good that you have never lived a life like this. You've never seen anything like this. I feel like I want to cry a little bit. You've never seen a life like this. You've never even dreamed of it. That's how good it is. Like, it's so far out of, not so far out of comprehension. Like, you could see pieces of it, little tiny bits of it, but this is so far out of that comprehension zone that I see somebody going from here to here. We talked about the different, comprehend it when you need to. It's like tears of joy. Tears of joy. Oh yeah. And your dreams come true. What'd you ask for? That's again, from earlier, what'd you ask for? You're gonna receive it? What'd you ask for? There's something else with this one. The wheel. It'll spin again, but for now it's done. This is a long turn. The wheel's done spinning. The wheel has stopped, even if momentarily. Here's the fate. Here's the, you're crossing fate now. Destiny. You're crossing fate. They're not the same thing, right? And also similar in nature. We crossed a lot of fate to get to destiny. Let me cross this, and 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 then eventually, okay, well, there's the thing I've been looking for. Destiny. There's the crossing. It took me years, but I found it. Okay, so the wheel's gonna stop spinning. Kind of like when you're moving on, and then right before and right as that first stick, oh, I didn't mean to do that, but it worked. Oh, I didn't mean to do that, but it worked. The wheel's gonna stop spinning around that time. And when the wheel stops spinning, you know how much easier, think about how disorienting it is sometimes to be constantly looking and looking and shifting and going and shifting and shifting and shifting and shifting. Calm down for a second, okay? So when the wheel stops spinning, now I can sit still. Nothing is changing. I had the idea, it worked. I threw the knife, it stuck. I have what I need to build. Let me grow then. Let me do this. Ooh. Man, I don't know what you're destined for, but it's definitely gonna make you money. Jeez, man. The money has come out this entire reading. Saturn, I guess a lot of people, if you're manifesting money, working with Saturn is, like, in my opinion, one of the easier placements to sit with. Venus too. Okay, I'm not gonna discount Venus. They're brother and sister, so, you know, I guess that's applicable. A family of money planets. The jokester. Okay, but yeah, money. What you're gonna receive, you're not even gonna believe it. Of course, if you're like, you can't even comprehend what the life is gonna be like, of course you're not even gonna comprehend what the money is gonna be like. Duh. Duh. Okay, that's it for this one. That's it for the video is what I mean. Yeah, we're about an hour in. That's it. That's crazy. Okay, well, let it rest. Let it ruminate. Don't be stressed about it, okay? Just be dressed about it. Just, you know, like you would dress a candle or dress a working. You got it. This is gonna be, like, yeah, it's gonna be work, but, like, think about everything that you've already put into this. And for those of you who are, like, starting off on working on something, destiny doesn't just cross us once. Destiny doesn't just cross us once. If you're just starting on this, you're just starting on the journey of doing your creative business, doing your, whatever it is, your soul path, your soul purpose, right? I feel like that's like some common tongue words to describe this. Then yeah, you're starting to cross into destiny. Congrats. Here you go. So gratitude, reverence, and love to you. Keep up the brew. For those of you also who are a little bit newer into this, remember that Saturn does take time. Saturn does take time. And sometimes, especially with Neptune and Aries, okay? So sometimes the shifts are going to come with ideas. So really listen. Really listen, because the internal, that was how the reading started. The internal changes of position, that's going to be, it's not going to be just things around you that are like handed to you. Saturn doesn't do that. Saturn doesn't do that. Saturn doesn't ever do that. Literally ever. If something is handed to you with Saturn, you've been through 10 trials to make sure that you're ready for whatever that thing is already. So, yeah, Saturn doesn't do that. So if you're like newer on the path, just remember that sometimes it takes time, and this is going to open up a lot of ideas that you can start to get into work. Do the crosswork. Like a crossword puzzle. Fill in the blanks, you know. Eventually everything will be filled in. And hello, I won the prize. Thanks. Okay, so gratitude, reverence, and love to you. That's it. I'll talk to you soon. Keep up the brew that you do. I for sure will too. And happy Saturn retrograde in Pisces. And also Saturn in Pisces direct. Yeah, cool.